tie the grunter, the hook I'm using is the Full and Mill. This one here. It's called the Short Shank Special, size 12. Now, shank's equivalent to a 14, but the gape's equivalent to a size 12. And this is the black version. Now the thread I'm going to be using, I'm going to use a dark brown thread. It's the Uni in 80. I'm just going to run the wax through it to get it started. Now, start the eye, come down about a third of the way, and then come back up and leave a bit of head length, just short of the eye, and we're going to tie in some CDC feathers. Now 2 to 3 feathers, depending on how good the quality of the feathers are. I'm going to use 3, so just 3 small ones. It's just a natural grey, just lining them up, so lining the tips up, so the 3 are together, just drawing the fibres together, making sure they're all about right. That's fine. I'm looking for a wing length, at least, basically looking at least the shank length forward of the eye. Make sure you've got that headroom at the front, and then we can come in from over the top. I'm going to use my scissors and cut at an angle towards the back of the hook. This will help taper the body for you, and then we can wind down. Now, wax the thread here to make sure there's plenty of grip. And once I get to this point here, I'm tie in some red holographic tinsel. Now, I'm using a medium. You could just use a small, dial up to yourself, but I'm using a medium. You can change the colour of this as well. Pearl's good. Now I'm going to come round the bend here slightly, and then come back up about 2.5 mil or so. Now to protect the tinsel, I'm just going to wind over some super glue. So we tap through the back of the tag with that, and then wind over the super glue. Get to that point, then we can tie it in. Now you're looking for a natural fibre, like a hare's ear type fibre. Red squirrel, fox squirrel is quite good. You can use quite a few fibres at the back. And I'm just going to let the dab it on. Just use a natural fibre. Now I'm going to then taper it up towards, taper up the body anyway, so you want a nice shape in the body. Now give yourself, for the hackles, there's 2 hackles. I'm using a natural brown cock saddle and a brown partridge. I'm going to tie in the partridge first. So to get the tip, I tie in by the tip. So what I usually do is use my small hackle pliers just to get hold of the tip of the feather and draw back. I'm just going to lay this on the top, but what I'm going to do is trim. So there's a couple of mil or so the tip of the partridge hackle laying there, and I'm laying it with the front down because I want it to lay towards the back. Make sure that's secure, and then I've got my saddle hackle. This is a natural brown. So I'm going to catch this in, and again with the front of the hackle facing towards the CDC, and we're laying back. Then what I'm going to do is just wind up to that point there, come across your thread. Now, easiest way is to tie it off is to run the thread up, straight turns through the hackle, and then you can break this off. That's nice and tight. It's not hugely neat, but it's nice and tight, and it's neater when it comes to the number of turns you can get. Now, the reason I'm doing that as well is because I'm going to wind the partridge hackle through, and you want the stiff cock hackle to basically open out these fibres, wind towards the CDC, lift the CDC, there's a turn there or so. I'm just going to follow up, nice and tight with the thread. Make sure you get a good 4 or 5 turns in there. Now the stem in this is quite thin, so you can actually fold it back and ignore it at this point. Just use the thread to tidy up the head area. Now what I'm going to do is ignore things at this point and just put the varnish on the thread, and then I'm going to whip finish. Just draw back the CDC, especially. We can whip finish. We can then trim away the thread. The stem, the passage is still there. It's quite easy to actually break off. Maybe that. And there we are. That's the grunter. Now, if you look at the shape of the fly, it's great. It gives a great impression of an egg-laying caddis. Now, the soft hackle and the stiff work together. They work as one, or basically help support one another. Now, that when you cast that, this falls back. You can trim it underneath if you want, but the legs gives the impression of wings as well. It's a great position for either an egg-laying caddis or in the emerging caddis pattern. It's a bit rough looking, but that's the fly. That's what they call the grunter.